Hello, my name is Adolfo, and this is Life of Adolfo. I'm in Cebu, Philippines, and I'll explain what does that have to do with what I'm going to talk about. But I want to talk about Doug Christie. He assuming that he had a child with his wife, Jackie. And now he found out that it's not his child. I believe that as a whole, as a country, we need to do DNA testing once the baby is born. And I know a lot of people may say, why do we have to do testing? And like I said, I'm in Cebu, Philippines. My child that I had here with my significant other, I call her wife, once you have a child in another country, you're an American, he's entitled to become a U.S. citizen because he was born from a parent of the United States that was born in the United States. But one of the requirements that a lot of people that have a child on another country, they didn't do it to me. They looked at my kid, they looked at me, they say, man, this guy looks exactly like him. But one of the requirements is that, hold on. One of the requirements is that the child gets a DNA. Not a requirement, but most of the people get a DNA. Anyways, there's dogs here. And on this precise area, I got bit by a white dog. And there's 3 white dogs. So I got to keep an eye on the white dog. I got bit 2 weeks ago. That's why I got to look back because the dog didn't even bark. He just came from behind and just bit me. Anyway, I'm clear. But about, I don't want to say the percentage, but out of the 3-4 people that I talked, maybe 2, they were required to get a DNA to prove that it's their child. And I believe that it should be done. It should be done for everybody. Because right now, with this scenario of Doug Christie, it reminds me because the baby, yes, he's African American, but a little bit darker. Through all these years. But it could have been passed on, skip a generation or 2 generations. It reminds me of Me, Myself, and Irene, or Me, Myself, and I. There's a Jim Carrey movie where he has 3 African American sons, but him and his wife are white. It kind of reminded me of that. The good thing of Doug Christie is that he filed for everything, according to what I heard. Trying to get every penny out of it back. But we should require a DNA because what if you are the dad and that's your only child and you went through all these years, now you're 40, 50, 60, and you find out that the only child that you have is not yours. I know a lot of females may not understand this, but yes, visualizing. It's like basically he gave up all his life, all his dream of having a child, and it's not his. I also think that during divorce, if they don't want to do the DNA at the beginning, divorce for child support, they should do it absolutely. They should absolutely do it. Hold on. My son ripped his he has a little something called a chupon, a pacifier, and he ripped it. And once he rips it, he likes to throw it on the floor. And I don't got time for him not having it, because then he cannot have the pacifier. But I'm a firm believer on the DNA in that case. I'm also a firm believer that Doug Christie is right. He should file for everything because it's not his. There should be, because even on some case, according to what has been said, is that Jackie knew is not his child, and he has let him believe. And Chris Webber used to go there. He kind of knew it was his child. I mean, that's not good. There's something about basketball players, because Steve Nash, and that's what reminded me, myself, and Irene, is the Steve Nash case, because the kid didn't look like him. There's something about basketball players that the wife gets too attached to the other player. Maybe a lot of time with them. I don't know. It's just wild guesses. But back to the Doug Christie, is that, like I said, there's something about the basketball players, Chris Webber, and it's not right. DNA is mandatory. Anyways, that was just my thought on Doug Christie, that DNA should be required. Steve Nash, same thing, but it was obvious for him. I know I didn't have a DNA with my kid. I'm not saying he looks exactly like me, but we're in the Philippines. I'm Mexican. He kind of looks more on the Mexican side. He has the same facial. But if there was a DNA, I didn't mind if they did it. I'll be happy. But on the immigration, they will tell you here if a DNA is required. And I believe that once he saw the kid, he said, nah, no need to do a DNA on this kid. But like I said, 2 out of the other 3, or we could say 50, because now you include me, did do a DNA. One of my friends in the Navy, they had to do a DNA. All right. Have a good day and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.